There's a piece of legislation looking to fix a 40-year-old outcome of the anti-Pacific racism of the Dawn Raids era. Green Party MP Te Anau Tuiono's Restoring Citizenship, Removed by Citizenship, Western Samoa Act 1982 bill would restore the right to New Zealand citizenship for people from Samoa who were born between 1924 and 1949. A right promised to them and found owed them by New Zealand's then highest court. In 1982, the Muldoon government pushed through the Citizenship Western Samoa Act to deny New Zealand citizenship to Samoans. In 2003, during the second term of the Helen Clark-led Labour government, a petition with more than 90,000 signatures calling for the 1982 law's repeal was presented to Parliament. No action was taken by the government. Johnny Blaze from the House caught up with Tuiono in Samoa last month to talk about his bill, which he said he put on the ballot after the Dawn Raids apology in 2021.
There was a couple of things that I think needed to happen in order for that apology to be more meaningful. So the first thing was an amnesty for overstayers. That was definitely something that people were calling for, because saying that the Dawn Raids thing was happening way back when and somehow magically stopped is just not true. What we found out this year is that the immigration was still dawn raiding people.
They're still doing it.
Still doing it. It's shameful. Acknowledging that Tongan dad who got raided. So that's disgraceful. It's 2023. We already apologised for the Dawn Raids, yet it's still happening there as well. So
Can I just ask though? Does that render the apology a bit empty, or is it just slackness on the government's part?
I think more needed to be done. So I was at the town hall for the Dawn Raids apology, and it was emotional for all of us. But I'm also mindful of my parents' generation, our parents' generation. So that was about them, when we were in the hall, and I remember the Tongan Princess Mele Siwili Katapu. Her words really resonated with me as well. So I think more needed to be done, but I think it's important to acknowledge something happened, and that's a good thing as well. So the amnesty for overstayers, I think that was definitely something that needed to happen as well. But also the other thing, and I'm not sure people realise that, because as we in the Greens were pushing for an apology for the Dawn Raids, other people were reaching out to me, Samoan people that I know, saying, hey, look, there's also this racist piece of legislation that's still on the books, the Western Samoa Citizenship Act, and the bit of history around that was Whale Mai Lesa, and I managed to talk with her and her family, and people were reaching out to me, go, hey, look, while you're apologising for the Dawn Raids, how about getting rid of this? She was an overstayer, but she took a case which went all the way to the Privy Council, which was like, actually, I'm not an overstayer, I'm actually a citizen of New Zealand, and she won. She won that case. It was so important. She won that case. So all of a sudden, there were a whole lot of people from Samoa that were eligible for New Zealand citizenship. And then the government of the day took away those rights. Just took away those rights. It's disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
When was that?
It was in the 80s. And so having that piece of legislation still on the books is not cool. I reckon we need to get rid of it. But also recognising that there is a generation that is still here, that still remembers that. So the bill that I put in the ballot is about acknowledging that, repealing that act, but also setting up a pathway, if they want, for that elderly generation to get their citizenship.
Do you sort of feel out other parties to see if they would be willing to support it?
Yes, I did. I reached out to all of the political parties. Actually, I had a meeting with the now Minister for Pacific Peoples, Minister Barbara Edmonds, and I outlined everything to do with the members' bill, with the idea that she would take it to her caucus to see if they would support it or not. And I've had chats with the National Party as well. For me, it just seems to make sense that if we are going to be more fulsome in terms of our addressing the Dawn Raids era, we need to sort of close off a number of things.
Yeah, and we're here in Samoa at the moment. I mean, there would be people, plenty of communities who had, someone in their family affected by that.
Yes, well, there is. I mean, it's a generational thing. We did a bit of research as well, and they reckon there's probably around less than 5,000. But I think it's incumbent on the New Zealand Parliament, New Zealand government to sort it out, because that legislation is on our books, not on the Samoa legislative books.
That was Green Party MP Te Anau Tuiono speaking with Johnny Blades from the House. It's uncertain whether Tuiono's members' bill will get a first reading before this parliament term finishes, but it will have its day, and he was hopeful of gaining the support of other parties.